Some days, dear one, it can feel like you're carrying too much inside your own heart. You wake up and the world looks the same, but you don't feel the same. Your body might feel tight. Your thoughts might feel loud. And somewhere deep inside, you may wonder, is this ever going to get better? If you're feeling that way right now, I want you to know something with all the tenderness I have. You are not alone, and you are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply human, and you have been doing the best you can with what you've known, with what you've been taught, and with what you've survived. And here is the gentle truth I want to place in your hands today. Like a warm cup of tea on a cold morning, you have the power to heal your life right now. Not because you can force life to become perfect, and not because you can control everything that happens around you, but because you can begin to change what happens within you. You can begin to change the way you hold yourself. You can begin to change the way you speak to your heart. And over time, as you practice this, life begins to respond in beautiful ways. Now, I want to say something important, sweetheart. What I share with you is loving guidance and spiritual wisdom, things I've learned on the path of mind and heart. It is not meant to replace professional support, medical care, or therapy when you need it. It's simply a gentle companion for your journey, a light you can carry. So let's take this moment together. Take a slow breath in and let it out softly. And as you breathe, allow your shoulders to drop just a little. You don't have to do anything perfectly. You don't have to get it right. You only have to be willing to begin again. Right now you can begin again. And I know sometimes even hearing those words can stir up resistance. Part of you might say, but you don't know my story, or you don't know what I've been through, or I've tried so hard already. Yes, I understand that. I have learned that when we have been hurt, when we have been disappointed, when we have carried pain for a long time, the heart becomes cautious. It tries to protect us. It says, don't hope too much. It says, don't try again, you'll fail. It says, stay small, stay safe. But there is another voice inside you too. There is a voice that still wants peace. There is a voice that still wants freedom. There is a voice that still believes, quietly, tenderly, that healing is possible. And healing, dear one, is not a single moment. It is a relationship. It is the relationship you build with yourself, day after day. It is learning to meet your own life with kindness instead of punishment. It is learning to open the windows in the closed rooms of your mind so fresh air can come in again. Let me share something beautiful. The present moment is a doorway, and you are standing in it right now. So often we think healing has to happen someday, when we have more money, when we have more time, when we feel stronger, when we have the perfect plan, when we finally understand everything. But healing does not require perfection. Healing requires willingness. What if you didn't have to solve your entire life today? What if you could simply open one window? In a house that has been closed for a long time, the air becomes stale. Nothing is wrong with the house. It's just been closed. And sometimes our minds become like that. We keep the windows shut because we're afraid of what we might feel. We keep the doors locked because we're afraid of what we might remember. We hold our breath because we think it's safer not to move anything. But sweetheart, you were not made to live in a locked room. You were made to breathe. You were made to grow. You were made to love. And right now is not a command. It's an invitation. Right now means you don't have to wait for life to give you permission. You can give yourself permission. You can take one gentle step. You can soften one thought. You can place one kind hand on your heart and say, I am here. I've learned that when we stop treating ourselves like a project to fix and start treating ourselves like a life to love, something changes. The nervous system begins to exhale. The body begins to feel safer. And when the body feels safer, it becomes easier to make better choices. So let's do a small practice together. Very small, just a doorway-sized practice. Bring your attention to your breath, not to change it, just to notice it. And now, say quietly, out loud if you can, or in your mind if that feels safer, say, "In this moment, I am willing to be kind to myself." Just that. In this moment, I am willing to be kind to myself. If you don't believe it yet, that's okay. Willingness is enough. We don't begin with belief, we begin with willingness. And here is another gentle truth I've learned. The way we speak to ourselves becomes the atmosphere we live in. Some of us grew up in homes where the atmosphere was criticism, or fear, or silence, or chaos. And if that was your early environment, you may have unknowingly recreated it inside your own mind. Not because you wanted to suffer, but because it felt familiar. But you can change the atmosphere. You can change what you breathe inside. I discovered that many of the pains we carry, emotional pains, patterns of self-sabotage, even the tension we hold in the body, are connected to the way we have learned to treat ourselves. When I began to replace harshness with gentleness, I noticed that my entire life started to feel different. Not instantly and not perfectly, but steadily. You see, sweetheart, healing is not punishment. Healing is permission. And here is the thing. Your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are messages. They are repeated instructions. They are a kind of inner conversation that your body and your life listen to over time. If your inner voice says, "I'm not safe," your body tightens. If your inner voice says, "I'm not enough," your heart sinks. If your inner voice says, "I always mess up," you may stop trying. But what if your inner voice could become a place of refuge? What if you could speak to yourself the way you would speak to a child who is scared? Not with force, not with shame, with love. Let yourself imagine that your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed, and you don't plant seeds once. You plant them every day with repetition. If you've been planting seeds of fear for years, it makes sense that your inner garden might feel overgrown. That does not mean you failed. It means the garden needs tending, and tending is a loving act. So I want to offer you a simple way to begin tending your inner garden. Choose one sentence, just one, that feels like a gentle step up from where you've been. Not a huge leap, just a step. If you've been thinking, "I hate myself," you might not be ready to say, "I love myself," yet. And that's okay. Your heart knows when something feels too far. So we begin with something like, "I am willing to learn to love myself." Or, "I am open to seeing myself with kinder eyes." Or, "Maybe I don't have to fight myself today." Can you feel how those statements are softer? They don't demand, they invite. Now say one of them with me, slowly. Choose the one that feels possible. I am willing to learn to love myself. And breathe. I know, sweetheart, sometimes the mind will roll its eyes. Sometimes a voice inside will say, "This is silly." That voice is not your enemy. It is a frightened protector. You can thank it and still choose love. You might say, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe, and I choose a kinder way now." Right now, you can begin again. Now, there's another layer to this that I want to share very gently. Your body is not your enemy, sweetheart. It is listening for safety, for kindness, for permission to soften. So many people live at war with their own bodies. They criticize their bodies, they ignore their bodies, they push their bodies past exhaustion, they hold their breath and clench their jaw and call it normal, and then they wonder why they feel disconnected. Your body is a loyal companion. It is always communicating. It speaks in sensations, it speaks in fatigue, it speaks in tightness, it speaks in cravings, it speaks in tears. And when we learn to listen with compassion, the body often responds with more ease. I'm sharing this as a loving perspective about the mind-body connection, not as a medical claim, not as a replacement for care. Simply as something many people have noticed. When we shift our inner environment, the body may begin to feel more supported. Sometimes that shows up as calmer breathing, better sleep, less tension, more energy, or a softer heart. Little changes that add up. Have you ever noticed how your stomach reacts when you're anxious? Have you ever noticed how your shoulders rise when you feel criticized? That's the body listening. So let's offer your body a message of safety. Again, not force, invitation. Place one hand on your heart if that feels comfortable, or on your belly, or simply rest your hands in your lap and say, "My body is doing the best it can. My body is listening to love. It is safe for me to soften." Pause. Let those words land. You don't have to feel anything dramatic. Even a tiny sense of relief is enough. Sometimes the nervous system says, "Oh, maybe I can unclench." I discovered that when I treated my body like a beloved friend, I made different choices naturally. I didn't have to bully myself into better habits. I began to desire what was nourishing, and if I didn't desire it yet, I became willing. So here is a practical, very real-life practice you can try today. It takes 1 minute. 1 minute. Set a gentle timer if you like, and for 60 seconds ask yourself, what would feel supportive right now? Not what would be impressive, not what would be perfect, supportive. Maybe it's drinking water, maybe it's stepping outside for fresh air, maybe it's putting your phone down, maybe it's stretching your neck, maybe it's saying no to one thing, maybe it's resting, and then do the smallest version of it. Healing often begins with small acts of kindness repeated. Now, sweetheart, we must also speak about the past, because many people feel they cannot heal right now because the past still hurts. The past still echoes. The past still lives in the body. And I want to say this with so much respect. Your pain is valid. What you felt mattered. What happened left an imprint. And healing does not mean pretending it didn't. Healing means you don't have to keep reliving it as your only truth. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was okay. It means you are choosing to stop bleeding into today. That is very important. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to someone else. It is a gift you give to your own life. Sometimes people misunderstand forgiveness and think it's a demand. You must forgive right away. No, sweetheart. We do not force the heart. We invite it. We move gently. Sometimes forgiveness begins with this: I am willing to release a little of this. Just a little. Like loosening a tight fist. We do not open the hand all at once if it isn't ready. We open it a millimeter, then another, then another. I used to think I had to fight my past. I used to think I had to fix myself by analyzing every wound until it made sense. But what I learned is that the heart heals through safety and love. When you provide yourself safety and love in the present moment, the past begins to soften in its own timing. Imagine your thoughts and memories like a river. The river may carry leaves, branches, old debris. You do not have to jump into the river and wrestle every piece of debris. You can step onto the riverbank. You can watch the water move. You can say, "There goes that memory again." And you can breathe. The river can flow and you can still be okay. So here is a practice I love for the moments when the past rises up. When you feel the old story tightening your chest, whisper, "I see you, I feel you, and I am here now." Then add, "This is an old wave. I do not have to drown in it." And breathe slowly. Feel your feet on the ground. This is not denying your experience. It is creating space around it. And if you want a simple forgiveness sentence to begin with, one that does not require you to approve of what happened, try this: I release myself from carrying this alone. That is a powerful beginning. Right now, you can begin again. Now let me share something even more tender. There is a younger part of you that has waited a long time to be held with love. So many adults walk through life with an invisible child inside. A child who learned to be good. A child who learned not to need too much. A child who learned to hide feelings. A child who learned that love must be earned. And that child may still be there, sweetheart, quietly waiting for you, not for someone else to rescue them, for you. This is one of the most healing things I have ever learned. You can become the loving presence you needed, not by becoming perfect, not by having all the answers, but by showing up. You might speak to yourself the way a wise, kind mother would. You might say, "I'm here with you. You don't have to be afraid. You didn't deserve to be hurt. It's okay to feel what you feel." Can you feel the softness in that? This is not childish. This is profoundly mature, because it takes courage to give yourself what you were denied. And sometimes when we begin to offer ourselves love, grief arises because we realize how long we have lived without it. If that happens, sweetheart, be gentle. Tears can be part of healing. They are not failure. They are release. So here is a very practical reparenting practice you can try today. It's called the 2-sentence check-in. Once a day, even if only for 30 seconds, ask yourself, what do I feel? What do I need? And answer honestly, without judgment. You might feel tired, you might need rest, you might feel lonely, you might need connection, you might feel overwhelmed, you might need one small task, not 10, and then do one tiny thing that honors the need. That is how trust is built within you. That is how you become safe for yourself. Now, sweetheart, I want to talk about one of the biggest blocks people have, the fear that affirmations are fake. They say, "I can't say I love myself because I don't." And I understand, I really do. Affirmations are not meant to be lies. They are meant to be directions. They are a new path through the forest. When you've walked one path for years, it becomes worn. It becomes automatic. The new path feels strange at first, but as you walk it again and again, it becomes easier. So when a new belief feels too big, we begin with a smaller truth we can actually live. This is so important. If you cannot say, "I am completely healed," you don't have to. That isn't the point. The point is to speak something that supports your next step. Here are examples of small, true steps. I am open to healing. I am learning to trust life. I am willing to treat myself better. I can take one step today. I can be gentle with my process. Do you see? These are living statements. They meet you where you are. And then as those become familiar, you can expand. Healing is like winter turning into spring. In winter, the garden looks still, but beneath the soil, life is preparing. Then one day, a small green sprout appears. It did not appear because you screamed at the soil. It appeared because conditions were supportive. Time, warmth, patience, care. You are allowed to be in winter sometimes. You are allowed to go slowly. You are allowed to heal in seasons. I know this, dear one. Your heart responds to gentleness. So let's practice a small set of affirmations together, spoken like warm sunlight. Say them softly and pause after each one. I am willing to heal. I choose kindness today. I allow myself to begin again. Life supports me as I learn. I am safe enough in this moment. Breathe, and if you want to, repeat them one more time, because repetition is love, not pressure. I am willing to heal. I choose kindness today. I allow myself to begin again. Life supports me as I learn. I am safe enough in this moment. Now, sweetheart, let's bring this into daily life, because healing must be lived. It must show up in the way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. It must show up in the way you rest. It must show up in the boundaries you set. It must show up in how you receive goodness. Yes, receive goodness. Some people are so used to struggle that peace feels unfamiliar. They get calm and then they create drama because drama feels like home. If that is you, there is no shame. It is simply a pattern, and patterns can change. This is where your power lives, in the pause. When you notice yourself spiraling, you pause. When you notice yourself criticizing, you pause. When you notice yourself numbing, you pause. And in that pause, you choose again. Right now you can begin again. Healing becomes real when you start living as someone who is healing, even in tiny ways. That means you don't wait until you feel perfect to act with love. You act with love, and over time, the feeling follows. You brush your teeth with kindness instead of rushing. You speak to yourself softly in the mirror, even if it feels awkward. You eat one nourishing bite. You step outside and let the air touch your face. You say no to what drains you. You say yes to what supports you. And here is something I discovered that may surprise you. You do not have to heal by yourself. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is reach for support. A friend, a counselor, a group, a professional, a community. Healing is not a test of independence. It is a return to wholeness. And wholeness often includes connection. So if you need help, sweetheart, it is okay. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. Now let's talk about the inner critic, because that voice can feel so convincing. It says, you're not doing enough. It says, you'll never change. It says, you always mess things up. That voice may have been formed from old experiences, old authority, old fear. And I want you to try something the next time it appears. Instead of arguing with it, name it. You might say, oh, that's the old fear voice, or that's the perfectionist, or that's the part of me that learned to survive. And then respond with love. Thank you for trying to protect me, and I choose a kinder way now. Can you feel how that changes everything? You stop being at war with yourself. You become a loving leader inside. This is power, quiet power, real power. And this is what I mean when I say you can heal your life right now. You can begin to change your inner leadership right now. Not tomorrow, not after you fix everything. Right now. Now, sweetheart, I want to bring in a very simple daily practice that many people find supportive. I call it the morning doorway. When you wake up, before you pick up your phone, before you review your worries, take one hand to your heart and say, "Good morning, life." Then say, "Today I choose peace as much as possible." And then choose one intention. Today, I choose to speak kindly to myself. Or, today I choose to notice support. Or, today I choose to take one healing step. This takes less than 30 seconds, but it sets the tone, it opens the window, it changes the atmosphere. And in the evening before sleep, you can do a gentle closing practice. Place your hand on your heart and say, "I did the best I could today. I release this day with love. I allow rest to heal me." Sleep is not just sleep, sweetheart. It is a form of healing. And when you speak kindly before sleep, the body often rests more deeply. Now, I want to speak about self-worth, because at the root of so much suffering is the belief, I don't deserve. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve peace. I don't deserve good things. And I want to tell you, dear one, with all the certainty of the heart, you deserve love because you exist. You do not have to earn it through suffering. You do not have to prove you are worthy. A flower does not prove it is worthy before it blooms. It simply blooms when the sun comes and the season is right. You are like that. And even if you have made mistakes, especially if you have made mistakes, love is still the way. Because shame does not heal. Shame repeats the wound. Love heals, love softens, love changes behavior gently from the inside out. So if you are carrying shame, let this be your new sentence. I release shame and I choose growth. Not because you are excusing anything, but because you are choosing your future. And if you can, try this mirror practice very gently. Look at yourself in the mirror for just 5 seconds. That's all. And say, I am learning to love you. If that is too hard, say, I am willing to learn to love you. Then smile, even a small smile, and walk away. That's enough. 5 seconds a day can change a life over time because it changes relationship. Now let me share one more layer. Healing is not just about what you release. It is also about what you allow. Can you allow joy? Can you allow ease? And can you allow compliments? Can you allow help? Some people push away goodness because it feels unfamiliar. If that is you, try this affirmation. It is safe for me to receive. And then practice receiving in tiny ways. Receive a kind word. Receive a moment of sunlight. Receive the comfort of a blanket. Receive the taste of warm tea. These are not small things. They are the building blocks of a healed life. Because a healed life is not necessarily a life without challenges. It is a life where you meet challenges with love. And you can begin that right now. Right now you can begin again. So let's gather everything we've touched today. The doorway of the present moment, the kinder inner voice, the listening body, the soft release of the past, the reparenting of the tender parts, the small, true affirmations, and the tiny actions that build trust. This is not about forcing transformation. It is about allowing it. It is about creating an inner home where your spirit can rest, a home with open windows, a home with warm light, a home where you are welcomed. And you are the one who can create that home, sweetheart, thought by thought, choice by choice, breath by breath. So now let's do a final practice together. Simple, calm, and real. Take a slow breath in and let it out. Let your shoulders soften, unclench your jaw, and say softly, right now I can begin again. Right now I choose kindness. Right now I allow healing to unfold. I do not have to rush. I do not have to be perfect. I only have to be present. Breathe. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Bring it back with love. Now one more time, like a gentle promise to yourself. Right now I can begin again. Sweetheart, I want you to remember this. Healing is not somewhere far away. It is not a mountain you must climb alone. It is not a punishment you must endure. Healing is a series of loving returns. A return to your breath. A return to your body. A return to your worth. A return to your heart. And every time you return, you grow stronger. So as you go back into your day, carry one small sentence with you. One sentence that becomes your light. Perhaps it is, I am willing to heal. Or, I choose kindness today. Or, it is safe for me to begin again. And when life feels heavy, place your hand on your heart and come back to the doorway. Because the doorway is always here. This moment is always here. And you are always allowed to start over. I am sending you so much love, dear one. Gentle love, strong love. The kind of love that doesn't demand perfection, only presence. And remember, always, you have the power to heal your life right now.